So the countdown to this year's World Cup is well and truly on as 32 nations combine to create the greatest sporting spectacular on the bloody planet. But in this video, I'm going to try and answer you one simple question. Can Senegal win this year's World Cup? That's right, folks, back once again with another World Cup summary video. That's right, where we're going to try and answer one simple question. Can this nation actually go out and win the World Cup out in Qatar? We'll take a look at it, all of it, in a second. Of course, if you're new, where you been, smash your subscribe button, bang it, all things World Cup related, Black and Rovers related, world football itself related. We got it all here, boys, under one roof. Of course, the countdown is well and truly on, with the tournament set to kick off in November 2022, of course. But what's going to happen this coming World Cup? We'll take a look at all of it in a second. Of course, big shout out to my VIPs. They are the patrons, of course. And if you are interested in helping out the channel in another way, check out the links down below. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Twitch, I'm on Patreon, and of course there's a Discord in there. So get in amongst it and let's get chatting. All right then, folks, let's take a look at Senegal. That's right, of course, champions of Africa. Indeed, they qualified. In fact, they had a long-winded qualification phase, and we'll deliberate on that in a second, of course. So let's take a look at Senegal. They qualify as the Confederation of Africa. Something like that. Third round winners will explain how that panned out in a second. They secured the deal on the 29th of March 2022. Third tournament for Senegal as a whole. Their last was back in 2018 out in Mother Russia. This is their second tournament in succession, with their best, of course, the quarterfinals in 2002. Can they better that? Of course, you know what, right here, right now, I think they can. I think they could potentially either equal that anyway, but of course, they could even go one step further. It is a very, this is one of the nations that I'm finding the most difficult to categorize. They could actually have a fantastic World Cup, and like I said, equal or better that quarterfinal position back in 2002. They've got such a earth or generation of talent here, and they have what a lot of nations don't have, and that is a talisman, a guy going forward, scoring goals, probably a top 10, top 20 player in the world. That's what I'm trying to say here. And of course, Sadio Mane, he made the switch from Liverpool, where he was, of course, a monstrous figure out there, but he's now gone to Germany and Bayern, where he's expected to achieve much more success domestically and in European football. And of course, I will elaborate on that. In fact, let's take a look at the qualification phase before we talk about Mane and of course the rest of the quality that they've got in their ranks. Of course, so they qualified way back when. I think this was round 2 or something like that. They topped the group, of course, yet to taste defeat in their group. They took out Tongo, of course, Ryan Nyambe's Namibia, and Congo as well. Not really the most difficult group out in Africa, but of course, this was intermixed with the African Cup of Nations tournament. So they'd done this, then it was the African Nations tournament, which of course they went on and won. And they had a bit of a staggered start in that, but they came out and showed their quality by beating Egypt, of course, to win the trophy outright. In Cameroon, of course. Then they took on actually Egypt in the next stage, the third round, and it was a very difficult encounter. And it was unfortunate that these two sides paired off against each other, because for me, as a neutral, I would have loved to see Egypt go through to the World Cup itself. But of course, that was not the case. So I actually lost a lot of good talent, or at least powerful nations out of Africa during the qualification phase. We lost the likes of Algeria. They didn't make it through. Nigeria either, even the African Cup of Nations. I mean, Ivory Coast couldn't get to even to this stage. It's such a fine margin, of course, and it's unfortunate that we are restricted to the amount of African nations that make it to the World Cup final itself. But anyway, regardless, they lost the first leg, they won the second leg, and came through 3-1 in penalty. I think Sadio Mane, in fact, scored that winning penalty as well. Aliou Cisse is the manager, of course, a colourful manager indeed. He's been there, seen it, and now done it, of course, as a player. I think he was in there 2002, way back in the quarterfinals. I think he was there. Don't quote me on it, but of course, he is the face of the place for Senegal. His charisma, his belief, his passion for his country is second to none, of course. And if anyone's going to lead him to success, it's going to be Aliou Cisse. Of course, the main man is Sadio Mane. We talked about him, of course, making that switch this summer from Liverpool to Bayern. A fantastic move for him, fantastic opportunity to get some glory, not only, of course, in the Bundesliga, but also in the Champions League. They could go the distance in there, and maybe he can add another one to his Liverpool medals, of course. Their key match, though, in fact, can we, where is the group? Is against Ecuador. So let's bring that up here. Of course, Ecuador for them is the third game. It's the third game in the set. They'll kick off their tournament against the Dutchlands on, of course, November 21st. A very difficult game that could go either way. It really could. And it could even be a draw, if I'm honest with you. If I had to put my money on it right here, right now, I probably would go with the draw. Because then they take on the host, Qatar, in their own backyard. This is not an easy group. Of course, I think I have been chewing on this for a long time now, who I think is actually going to win this group. And I have backed the Dutch for the most part, but for now, on the 10th of September, right here, I come to you, and I think that actually Senegal could actually win this group. And if they do win this group, then they could actually make some traction in this tournament itself. Because if you win this group, then more than likely you're going to get a weaker opposition in that second round. So let's, of course, paint that picture out for you right here, right now, of course. Give you the odds for them to qualify 11-8 on. They are, of course, favoured, in fact, over the likes of Ecuador and Qatar to qualify probably as runners-up in most people's eyes. But to win the Pistons thing, 66-1. Again, it's worth a quid, and if I think if there was ever a nation to win the World Cup here in Qatar, it will be Senegal. I think they've got a group that is there for the taking, and not only as runners-up, but I think they could actually go on and win this group. And of course, if they do that, they could land a favourable tie. Let's turn the clocks back to Russia 2018, and the likes of England and Croatia. Of course, they had a really easy passage all the way through to the semi-finals. This could be the same case for Senegal. It might not be the case. It might be the case. Of course, it is we saw it in Euros again. Switzerland, a Swiss team that came out of nowhere, and of course landed a favourable bracket, and then managed to get themselves to the quarterfinals and even challenged for the semi-final berth as well. So Senegal have the ability to win games. They've got the ability to come out on this group on top form, and of course a challenge to win this group as a whole. But Linda, I think I'm ready.
Can they win the World Cup?
Can they win the World Cup? You know what? I never thought I'd say this. No disrespect to anybody out there. I do think they can actually win the World Cup. Yes, I do. I know. Yes, hold the phone. Hold the phone. I do think if there's an African nation today, of course, we've got the confidence, we've got the belief. Yes, I do believe Senegal could actually do this. We are playing in unfamiliar sort of time of the year, tournament in a climate, in a terrain that is going to be difficult for a lot of European nations, of course. But I think Senegal usually play their tournaments out in Africa, the African nations, around about January. Whereas it's not too different to that. Of course, it's still going to be a tough old a challenge for every nation around in the 32. But I do think if there's going to be an African nation to go on and win this, it's going to be Senegal. They've got the confidence. Of course, they piggybacked on the success earlier in the year by becoming champions of Africa. Also, the success of qualifying for this tournament as a whole against a juggernaut of such out in Africa, Egypt. They sidestepped them twice in the year, and they got the players. When you look at that team, they've got the Koulibalys in there, they've got Sadio Mane's, and they got a whole they've got goalkeepers coming out the ears as well. I think they've got a lot of competition for that number 1 jersey. So it's I think they've got the potential. When you look at the group as well, so if you ignore the Dutch, who again aren't fantastic, they're not fantastic. Senegal can beat Qatar, they can beat Ecuador, they can take points off the Dutch.
Will they
win the World Cup? Heck no, unfortunately I don't see it. I do think they're going to have a fantastic tournament. I think Senegal are going to be one of the teams to watch this year. Of course, a good group for them to get themselves deep into the competition. But when, of course, they get to the knockout stages, you're playing up against tried and trusted teams, nations that are renowned for winning. The Brazils, Argentina, both came through their qualifying phase unbeaten. The likes of France, England, bloody Germany, Spain. There's some nations that have been there, seen it, and done it. Of course, Senegalese will get the backing, I'm sure, of the watching public, and of course those the unbiased nations around the world. So I do think they'll have the backing, and of course they will go potentially at least to the last 16 and maybe even beyond. So I'm going to put my head out here, and I'm going to say they're going to make it to the quarterfinals of this year's World Cup. That is, of course, my latest attempt at the prediction here, coming at you on September the 10th. So quarterfinals for me for Senegal. Do you agree? Let me know down below. So there you have it, folks. There you bloody have it. A short, sharp take on this nation's chances out in Qatar 2022. What do you expect this country will do in this year's tournament? Do you think they'll get out of the group stages, or do you think they'll go deep, deep, deep into the competition itself? Let me know your opinion down below. And of course, we'll look forward to non-stop coverage right here at Blackburn Overseas. We're going to have, of course, predictions, previews, reviews, reactions, and of course, reactions from real fans themselves, of course. So that's all to look forward to this year out in Qatar 2022. So make sure you smash your subscribe, smash the thumbs up, and smash the little bell, boys and girls, as we look forward to a fantastic winter, or at least late 2022 of world football. Let me know your thoughts and opinions again about this nation, and of course the tournament itself in the comment section. But until then, guys and girls, I'll see you soon for the next one.